Sup boys, it's your boy Death Boy here, and welcome back to DedChat. So I felt like today talking about some single player games. So single player games have meant a lot to me, especially as a kid, and even now. So back when I was a kid, a lot of the games I owned. Well, let me start from the beginning, right? So as a kid, I owned a PlayStation 2, right? And since I owned a PlayStation 2, I didn't have online game. Like, I didn't play online. And my sisters, well, of course, didn't play games. So I never really had any multiplayer video games. Because at the time, since I was living in California, I didn't have any family. Or family or anyone to come over really to play games with. So a lot of my games were single player games. Of course, the downside was I never had a memory card. So whenever I played with my PS2, I would basically have to go speedrun video games to go as far as I can into it, before eventually like resetting the game and the next day starting all over again. So it kind of sucked, but it is what it is. Um, and then eventually after my PS2, right? I don't think I ever finished any of the PS2 games I ever owned. Again, for that simple reason that I always had to restart my games, which really sucked. But I still had a lot of fun with it. Um, Another one was eventually, right? I got a PS3, and even when I had a PS3, you know, I didn't make my own PlayStation account. My dad did with his email and everything. So I never even played online on the PS3 era. I think I could literally count on one hand the amount of times I've played online on the PS3, and that's because my dad set it to every time I booted up the PlayStation, I had to log in to play online instead of auto login, and he didn't want to do that every time, so I just never played online. So again, during like a lot of my PS3 era as a kid, I played a lot of single player games. So whether that be Call of Duty, I would play Call of Duties over and over, or one of my personal favorite game series, Infamous. I remember that one. We had Batman Arkham. So many goated games. Dead Space 3. Well, Dead Space 3 isn't super goated, but as a kid, it was my first Dead Space, so it was pretty fun. We had Dark Souls. I started with Dark Souls 2 before 1, so I had Dark Souls 2. That one I never got far though, because that one I fucking struggled as a child. And then eventually, when I got a PS4, I only had PlayStation Plus for 1 year. And I remember that year vividly. It was 2015. That year was no, I'm sorry. It was like between 2014 and 2015. It was like between both those years. And wow, man, those were some of the most fun times I had playing multiplayer games. So again, my majority of PS4 was single player games. So man, I played a lot of Fallout 4, again Call of Duty campaigns, so many games on my PS4 that I would just play. And of course, eventually I started, finishing games once I got my PS3 and PS4. Those I've been finishing games. So single player games really do mean a lot to me. They have been a great part of my life. So many awesome stories. Fucking Halo. Well, this resorts to PC. We have Halo, Half-Life, GTA, Call of Duty, Red Dead Redemption 2 is probably hands down one of my favorite single player games of all time. Right? Like Dead Space. I could go on and on and on about single player games, and it's just incredible. Nowadays, though, sadly, I haven't been playing many single player games, because whenever I put myself in this mentality, which really kind of bothers me and sucks, right? I need to get out of it. Is whenever I start playing a single player game, I feel like, oh, I could be live streaming this. I could be live streaming my first reaction to certain games, and that's what I did for Half-Life 1. I streamed Half-Life 1 on hard difficulty. I do not recommend it. Holy shit. Playing on hard was something else, man. Jesus Christ. Took me, I think, like 12 hours to beat it. Jesus. Or 8. I can't remember. And eventually I wanted to I wanted to play the DLC, the expansion packs like Opposing Forces and Blue Shift. And I haven't done them yet because I felt like, oh, I should stream this. And yeah. Kind of a bit of a sad ending. I'm sorry. But, single player games are awesome, and will always forever be part of my life. I'm going to wrap it up here, though, guys. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, amazing night. And I'll see you on the next one. Later.